Hey guys, it's your boy Progress, and welcome to a brand new video. If you want to follow my other social media, I've got my Twitter and Instagram on screen and in the description below, so if you want, then go check those out. But today, we will be looking at an extremely odd case that I've actually wanted to talk about for quite some time now. And that day for discussing it is finally today. Also, nearing the end of this video, I'm going to pose a question to you guys once you have heard all the information, because I genuinely want to have a discussion about this because I think that it should be talked about. But let's get into it. This will be about the very interesting case where the rapper known as Lil Dusty G stole a bunch of verses that he ended up using in songs that he released, which most notably he took from Lil Peep and OmenXIII. The events that followed him getting exposed are probably, in all honesty, the reason why this story got picked up as much as it did when it happened, but I really wanted to look into this whole situation because it just seemed so strange to me, and I just remembered fragmented pieces of what happened but never knew the whole story. For those of you who don't know, Lil Dusty G is an underground emo rapper who from during late 2017 to late 2018 was having a fantastic breakout with multiple songs that were getting hundreds of thousands of views. His songs that were getting the most attention at the time were Waste Your Time, Ghostwriter, and Burn featuring Ronan, all of which had heavy influence from what was coming out from the scene at the time, and most often were covering extremely dark themes. But unfortunately, as it would come out, some of Lil Dusty G's songs were more than just influenced by the scene. And on August 21st, 2018, a prominent figure in the underground named OmenXIII would come out with multiple tweets that showcased multiple instances of Dusty stealing verses from himself and Lil Peep, with the question in the air as to just how many more people he could have stolen from and how many songs there were with lyrics taken from them, as to that point they didn't really know. This of course sparked a lot of people to end up going after him because some people were hoping that they could find answers as they really didn't want this to be true, or some people just went there because they wanted to throw their anger at him. Dusty ended up first releasing a statement the next day that said, quote, "I have 3 old songs with Peep lines in them that I made when I was 16 and 17. At the time, I was only making music for fun and never took it seriously. I really looked up to Peep and Omen, and I didn't use those lyrics with the thought of it getting to where it's at," end quote. This tweet actually ended up being deleted by him because of the backlash, but he did follow it up that same day with a full apology, which unfortunately was also deleted, but thanks to the Lil Peep subreddit, I was able to find the apology. He basically just addresses that he's been getting death threats, so he's been trying to stay off social media, but basically he's taking full responsibility and that it was really wrong, and he wants people to know that he doesn't expect forgiveness, but wants people to know the actions don't reflect him today. I do see some problems with this apology though, because in his second apology now, he doesn't actually address Lil Peep or Omen's name at all, and he kind of tiptoes around a little bit as to what the situation is that he's actually being, criticized for. But other than that, it's not like he's really acting as if he only cares because he was called out for it. It genuinely seems like he's understanding that he is in the wrong here. The wording of the apology at least makes it out to be that he's taking responsibility for it. Also, the fact that he was getting death threats from people is not something I support in the slightest, and is actually why I don't even fully support OmenXIII, because during this whole situation, for some reason, OmenXIII decided it would make any sense to tweet directly at Lil Dusty G saying, quote, "I know where you live now, Dustin. You better stop playing," end quote. Which just isn't okay to do in the slightest. Don't ever do that if you're arguing with someone. Don't just say you know where they live. That's a threat. Hey guys, editing progress here, and I just wanted to add as well something that I forgot to mention in the video, which is that OmenXIII himself actually posted DMs that he had with Lil Dusty G while this whole situation was going on, and in them it seems as though Lil Dusty G is very apologetic and trying to make it understood that he is taking responsibility for everything, and he's not trying to make things difficult for anybody, that he apologizes for it, and yet still for some reason Omen is trying to pull this whole, I know where you live thing, like don't play games with me. It just feels so unwarranted. Like, I don't understand what he thought there was to gain by acting like that. The thing that probably ended up being the most damaging in the situation though was when it came out that in 2017 Lil Dusty G had actually been asked by somebody if he intentionally meant to take lyrics from Peep off of his song Drugs, and Lil Dusty G responded saying, quote, "Nah bro, I used to just ghostwrite for Gus, we had a contract but he deleted a lot of songs and the ones he deleted I could use," end quote. Which this ended up becoming one of the most controversial and talked about aspects of this whole situation, because obviously it is a massive deal to try and make a claim like that, and also unfortunately Peep could not be able to defend himself or address the situation because at this point he had already passed away in 2017. This information piece is one that I'm kind of struggling with though, because although it seems to be one of the most brought up things in the entire situation, I have no idea where it actually sits in the timeline, but I'm pretty sure that that piece of information, that DM, ended up coming out before Dusty's apology. But once again though, even if this is extremely stupid of him to claim, then I can absolutely see the hate being fully deserved towards him. But you could also probably argue that it's just something a dumb 17-year-old said because he was put into a corner when asked a question and he just kind of panicked and said something stupid. Now though, there are some very important things that I want to address that seem to be left out of the conversation every single time that this topic comes up, that I want to talk to you guys about before I actually ask the question that I mentioned from the beginning of the video. I went over the examples of lyrics that were supposedly stolen, and this is what I found. The first example does show that Dusty directly stole 5 bars from Peep. The second example was clearly more of an homage though to Hurt by 9 Inch Nails and not him ripping lyrics, so I'm not gonna count that. The third example seems to be more like an homage to Peep as well than actually stealing lyrics, because it's literally a single sentence and he even added a couple words to the beginning, so it's not even the same thing anymore. The fourth example definitely takes a lot of elements of Peep's verse, but only 2 bars are identical and the rest all have alterations made to that. The fifth example though, that is just 100% 8 bars of stolen lyrics in full from Omen, which makes up almost the entire verse that Dusty did, so that's just stolen bars. But finally, the sixth example just once again has only one sentence that is identical and the other is a spin-up of what Peep said. So after being able to explain that to you guys, I feel like it is extremely hard if I were to try and sit here and just act like Lil Dusty G is stealing so many verses and this and that, he's stealing from everything and his entire songs are just stolen verses, when in reality that's not actually what's happening. And even with all of that being said as well, Dusty also did end up going onto his SoundCloud and taking down every single song that included stolen lyrics. And now these songs can only be found through either re-uploads or they're just gone entirely and there is no other versions of them. And even after Lil Dusty G did his apology and took down all of the songs, he then as well went and took a hiatus that lasted almost half a year, which people thought that maybe he was actually gone for good, but now obviously we know it seems like he was doing it more as a self-reflection kind of thing. Of course, if we wanted to be more pessimistic about it, we could try and say, oh, he was just waiting for things to blow over, but seeing is that when he came back, he ended up releasing the song called Insects, which genuinely seems like a self-reflection of wondering if his career is over and using the metaphor of letting insects eat him alive because he deserves it, but he still won't die, as a way of talking about how he wants the hate to kill him, but it won't. It seems like the guy understands that what he did was wrong and is maybe asking for a second chance. Which is where my question to you guys, the viewers, comes in, of asking, do you think that now, a year and a half later after this situation has happened, that Lil Dusty G possibly deserves a second chance, or do you think maybe he deserves a second chance with the caution being, you know, that as long as he doesn't steal verses like he did when he was 17, or maybe you think that the whole thing should be absolutely career-ending 100%. No matter what your option is, I would really like to hear it in the comments below, because I have had so much time of just sitting down and trying to think this over that I feel like just trying to address it by myself isn't enough, and that I would love to have a discussion in the comments with you guys as to what you think. Because I feel like this situation just isn't as cut and dry as other things that I've talked about on this channel before. Like, if I were to use two examples of kind of something to compare to, you could say, like, with Billie Eilish, she was also 17, you know, when her people, though, ended up going and being completely fine with using a stolen design in full. Like, nothing about it was original other than just a color hue change. And they used that to possibly sell the shirt to millions of people and profit millions of dollars off of it. That's not exactly the same as a kid, you know, who really likes these artists, and then he ends up stealing some bars while he's writing music in his bedroom that he's gonna upload to SoundCloud where he's not making any money. And even if I were to go with like a more extreme comparison of somebody who's messed with stuff to do with Lil Peep, you know, with the whole situation of how Dax stole an actual Lil Peep verse that contained his vocals in it, that he stole from other people who owned the verse, and then quickly went out as fast as he could to make a music video for it, which he then was trying to slam out as a tribute song for Lil Peep after he passed away. And on top of that, he also stole footage from one of Lil Peep's friends slash photographers. Like, they're just nowhere near the same level. Like, don't get me wrong, I absolutely am against the fact that Dusty stole any lyrics at all, and I do feel as if he needs to put out a full new reflection since the other one ended up getting taken down. But compared to these other events and other things that have happened, this is just nowhere near as bad to me as these other things. I feel like as if maybe I'm just rambling at this point because I can't come to a conclusion, which this is probably the first time ever this has happened for me. So I think I'm gonna end it off there for you guys, but I really do hope you enjoyed today's video, and I really do hope that you decide to leave a comment with your opinion on the situation and what you think. But massive shout out to my patrons this month, and a special thanks to my $10 and up patrons this month, those being Farski, Helen Gage, midwestfunky, Fruchtmarc, and follow at rap_thoughts. Thank you guys all so much for your donations. It honestly means the world to me and helps me out so much with putting out these videos. But yeah, I think that's gonna have to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching once again. Go and leave a comment down below. Check out my EP that's called Hello. I didn't mean to rhyme any of that, but it just happened. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.
I wanna make your days be worth it, be with your wet night, yeah. I wanna flirt and call you perfect, cause I know I'm right,